Hello everyone. Welcome to sort of part 2 of the KogaGoshi story. Just like I promised. No worries, I wouldn't leave you hanging for too long. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who still watch my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the uploads and check out the members only posts. Koshiki's blood ran cold. Everything screaming at him to slam the door shut and run, hide somewhere and not make a sound. But his body was way too slow to follow that instinct, frozen in place by the dread rushing through his veins when a much clearer picture of who was standing in front of him materialized in his head. I don't think that's a good idea. Finally able to move, he tried to shut the door, only to flinch when the man slammed his hand into it and pushed it open again. I wasn't asking, you know? I don't like when someone doesn't listen. The flash of anger was gone in an instant, replaced by the same cold grin as he crossed the threshold. So let's make it comfortable for everyone and get along. What do you think? Before Goshiki managed to respond, a heavy arm draped over his shoulders and pushed him towards the living room, despite his stuttered protests, his heart hammering into his chest when the main door closed, cutting him off from the outside world and any possible help. He desperately tried to stay calm, or at least appear that way, even though the man had to know he was freaking out. They didn't seem to have any weapons on them, but their physique was a weapon on its own. And while he wouldn't consider himself weak on court, he had never been in a situation requiring him to defend himself. Not that he could stand a chance in a 2-on-1 situation anyway. Even Kanji couldn't. He froze, subconsciously glancing at his phone. The screen was dark, but he was quite sure he hadn't ended the call yet. Hopefully Kanji didn't either. He has to know, right? He has to know not to come home right now, right? He prayed that was the case. Hopefully Kogane heard the two were looking for him and would realize that coming home right now was dangerous. He could stay away and wait until the air was clear. He would stay safe. Quiet whimper escaped his mouth when the man pushed him on the couch, the force with which he squeezed his shoulder to drill the message home making him shiver. At least the jerky motion was enough for him to, hopefully inconspicuously, hide his phone between the cushions. What a pretty little nest you have. Bet he's bringing in some nice money being a pro sports guy and all. Goshiki quickly swallowed the note that he, as a Division 1 player, was footing a bigger percentage of the bills from the two of them, and stayed silent and without motion while the more talkative man scanned the room as if he was buying a new home. What a shame. What do you want? Kanji's not here. You're waiting for nothing. Then he should come soon. Goshiki startled when the other man made a step towards him, but the other stranger stopped him. Now, no need to be harsh. I'm sure our new friend here knows what's at stake, right? Chills rushed down Goshiki's spine, the subtle threat in the man's overly sweet voice scaring him more than any physical harm the other could inflict on him. He had never met with someone whose aura he would call dangerous before, but looking at the man taking place next to him on the couch, looking as comfortable as if he owned the flat, he supposed this was as close as it could get. That was you, wasn't it? The people who hurt Kanji, who gave him all the bruises. The man smiled. He should have chosen better. Can't blame us. Can't blame you? And who else? You are just dirty cheaters who don't hesitate to... He didn't register what was happening until sharp pain exploded through his face, making his ears ring and eyes water. He choked the pain sob and instinctively gripped his nose, feeling warm blood dripping under his hand, the throbbing in his head increasing as the harsh hand pulled his head back again. Careful on your mouth. Wouldn't want to say something you would later regret. His hands and breath shaking, Goshiki pressed his nose tighter in hopes to stop the bleeding, hissing when the small parts moved in a way they definitely shouldn't. His mind only slowly caught up on what happened, reminding him of the hand grabbing the back of his head and the way the coffee table got close before he blanked out, the faint crack he more felt than heard making him shudder. Tears stunk in his eyes, if from the pain or the desperate situation, he wasn't sure. Maybe both equally. Please don't come home. Stay where you are. Don't come here, please. Scared to move even a centimeter, he curled into a ball and just forced himself to keep breathing, the silent prayer repeating in his mind over and over. He had to get away, maybe lock himself in one of the rooms and then scale down the 4 floors, somehow, and get help. Maybe call Kogane to warn him in case he didn't hear the exchange after all and for some reason decided to come back. Maybe... He started when the doorbell rang loudly into the silence, the grin spreading over the stranger's face at the same time freezing him in place. Seems like we won't have to ask him to come home after all. No, don't come in here. He wanted to run to the door and block it, even if it was with his own body, just to make sure the two couldn't meet with Kogane again. But the same hand pushed him back on the couch before gripping his chin to silence him. Don't ruin the surprise. He would have never thought the sound of the door opening could ever scare him. He waited, tense and terrified to hear Kogane's voice, or worse, hear something hinting on a hit. But instead, a voice he didn't recognize sounded from the entryway. No matter how much he strained his ears, he couldn't understand much. Just a few words about getting lost and the other man's voice telling him wrong floor, after which the door shut again. False alarm? How unfortunate. He let go of Goshiki's face with a sharp tug, sending more pain through his head. However, there was something off about his voice, enough so even Goshiki picked up on it, and the second man's expression only confirmed it. Something's weird. He gave Goshiki a sharp glare, but the other man just motioned aside. It's fine. Not like he can do much when we have his pet. Unless he doesn't care, of course. But Kogane cared, right? Even when they argued, even if they did break up in the end, he cared. For sure. Or maybe it would be better if he didn't. At least he would stay safe. Even if it hurt. Before he finished that thought, he was being hauled up again, his heart stopping for a beat when he spotted one of their larger kitchen knives in one of the man's hand. Blade he sharpened just last week, now aiming at his throat. It all felt like some horrid nightmare his brain created after watching too many of the crime series Kogane loved so much. Too strange to be actually happening. But the pain was real, just like the danger they were both in. Why are you doing all this? What did we do to you? Shut it. Maybe we should try calling your darling. He moved a strand of hair from Goshiki's face. Maybe if you cry enough, he'll come for you. He won't come, no matter what you do. He's not stupid. Why would he? A loud bang resonated through the flat as the main door flung open once again, and Goshiki's blood ran cold when he recognized Kogane rushing in. Leave him alone! Ah, so nice of you to finally join us. Kanji? His words got cut short by the blade pressed against the side of his neck. The shuddered inhale he took corresponding with Kogane's face twisting. Let him go. He has nothing to do with this. But he has something to do with you. That's what happens when you disappear on us, you know? I'm here now, so let go of him. Don't, please. It's fine. Don't worry, okay? The man grinned again, the overly sweet demeanor making Goshiki shiver. Right, listen to him. It's going to be fine once he realizes it's not nice to make us mad. Don't you dare!
Freeze!
Instinctively squeezing his eyes shut, Goshiki yelped when his ears popped, the echo of a gunshot hurting perhaps a little more than his broken nose. Unable to make sense of the ruckus suddenly raised around him, he fell to his knees and curled into a ball, hoping everything was over soon. Please be okay, please. A soft whine was all he managed when someone grabbed him once again and pulled him up. But the relief followed immediately when, even behind the veil of mist, he recognized Kogane's face, the warm hands on his cheeks chasing away some of his pain and fright. A second later, he was squished by Kogane's arms, so careful yet tight enough he was sure he wouldn't be able to get out. Not that he wanted anyway. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen. Now you're hurt again. You need a doctor, come on. They have to take a look at you. Goshiki just nodded as Kogane carefully helped him back on his feet, a shiver running down his spine when he spotted the police ushering the two men out of the door in handcuffs. Oh, and why did they... Shh. I'll tell you everything, I promise. But you need a doctor now, okay? He was trying to look strong and decisive, Goshiki could see as much. But he also couldn't miss that Kogane's hands were trembling, perhaps even more than his own. His breaths too shallow and voice too strangled to suggest calm. He had thousands of questions. Wanted to scream his lungs out asking why his fiancée came back into danger and why he left in the first place. But his voice betrayed him. Perhaps because of the exhaustion from the shock, or perhaps because of the relief that it seemed to be over. And so he just followed after Kogane, letting him lead him to the paramedics' car parked outside their apartment complex. How much time had passed since the police raid, he wasn't entirely sure. It was dark outside before, and it was dark now again, as all the flashing lights disappeared along with the police cars. The complex was quiet again, just like their flat aside from his muffled breaths caused by the gauze holding his nose in place, and the gentle clinking of spoon against ceramics from the kitchen. The pain also subsided a little, although he had a call with his coach ahead of him tomorrow since the doctor forbade him to play until his nose stabilized. Although he was glad he didn't need a surgery. But that was insignificant compared to the talk he knew was coming much sooner. Does it still hurt so much? He hummed quietly, the hushed, worried tone in Kogane's otherwise lively voice making his skin tingle. It's better. Okay, but still take the painkillers and put ice on it. It's going to help. He let out a strangled chuckle, probably reminded of the time he suffered a broken nose during a match, before he sighed and settled next to Goshiki on the couch, handing him 2 pills and a pack of ice. So, I should explain, right? Koshiki paused, wincing when Kogane helped him adjust the ice pack. Just tell me what happened. Why did you come home? Because I heard them, and I knew they were going to hurt you if I don't. I still came too late for that. He sighed, his shoulders slumping, and it suddenly dawned on Goshiki that he probably hadn't slept much better than him in the last week. I'm sorry. I tried not to pull you into this, I swear. I thought this whole thing was just some small gang trying to get money by cheating. But it turned out it was a much bigger mess. I can't tell you much yet, the police is still working on it. But now they at least have a solid case. He looked up, uncertain and pained. I didn't want you to get hurt. Moving on instinct, Goshiki reached for his hand, relief flooding his whole body when Kogane clung to him just as tight as he did. So, when you left, you were already working with the police? Yeah, a little. I wanted to come back that night, but they called me and said they might try to come after me, so I shouldn't be close to anyone else for a while. Sorry for leaving you in the dark. And it was useless anyway. Kanji, I don't want to break up. I know you think so, and maybe I deserve that too. But I don't want to lose you. Clenching Goshiki's hand in both of his, he turned on the couch so they were face to face. More than a little fear written in the anguished lines around his eyes and mouth. Can we still work on this? Before he even thought about his answer, Koshiki found himself nodding carefully, pressure building behind his eyes when the realization that Kogane still wanted to be with him dawned on him fully. Just give me some time, please. Of course, as long as you need. I'll think of something, I promise. And don't go missing on me again. You'll tell me when something happens from now on. Understood? Yes, understood. And for the first time in weeks, a genuine soft smile curled Kogane's lips, making Goshiki's heart flutter just like always in the past. Perhaps they weren't out of the dark waters yet, but with a bit of time and trying, he was sure things could improve. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I don't honestly know what to say about this part. I feel like I made it a bit too dramatic. I don't know. But, like, to be fair, nothing of this was supposed to happen until my editor came up with the idea of something happening to Goshiki while Kogane was away. So you can thank her, in case you are wondering what was behind this idea. I have a feeling it was slightly too dramatic, but hey, at least we had consequences without the death part at the end. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.